Hey everyone, this is Chonce from mythatepiphany.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to be making my first video for you guys. If you follow my blog at all, you know that I've talked about starting a YouTube channel, kind of getting in the YouTube game for a while. So I'm excited to finally be producing some video content for you guys. This channel is going to be all about helping you break the status quo when it comes to money. So if you are tired of living paycheck to paycheck and stressing out about money, trying to figure out how you're going to save, pay off debt, retire, do all these things, and you want to make some smart money decisions, then this channel is going to definitely be for you. I'm going to be talking about a lot of those things. With that being said, my first video is going to be kind of going over a common reader question that I get a lot, and that is how to kind of make ends meet as a single mom and actually get ahead, financially. So this topic is near and dear to my heart because just a little brief backstory, I was a single mom for several years, and that's kind of where I kind of got my start, my interest in personal finance. I had to learn about budgeting and trying to take care of my son and trying to make more money and pay my bills, and that's kind of where I got really passionate about money and learned a lot. So it's always going to be something that's always going to be a part of me, and that's really just my foundation and where I got started. So I wanted to offer some tips to anyone who's a single parent, and even if you're not, I feel like these are going to be some great tips to help you if you do have a tight budget right now and you're trying to figure out how can I go from just doing the same thing day in and day out, working, paying the bills, being broke, same old thing, to actually thriving and getting ahead and reaching some goals. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The thing that you really want to focus on is keeping your housing low and affordable. So the average rule of thumb is to keep your housing at or below 30% of your take-home pay. As a single parent, I would recommend that you even challenge that to get it even lower. Now, I know housing is going to be expensive. It's going to be, one of the biggest items in your budget, but if you can cut that and keep that low, you can free up so much money in your budget, free up more income. That's one of the big dogs that you should really focus on, because instead of focusing on these little tiny other little expenses that you have, you could focus on lowering your rent, lowering your mortgage payment, and you can literally save hundreds of dollars per month, and it can kind of make you breathe a little bit more. So some things that I would recommend would be choosing, where you live very wisely. If you're in a big city, obviously things are going to be very expensive. So I would even recommend living outside of a city, right outside, where you can kind of get there if you need to for work or whatever, or living in, suburbs or a rural area. You're going to find that housing is a lot cheaper and you still don't have to sacrifice quality. So you're going to live in a nice place, it may not have all the frills and everything, but at least it's going to be a nice, safe place to raise your family. So you can definitely check out options like renting with a private landlord versus like an apartment complex or a leasing office, because they may be able to work with you more and you may be able to negotiate better. They may offer a better rent rate. You can also consider living with roommates, even though, with a child that may not be much of an option. But if you have friends or even if you have family you can stay with, I would recommend doing whatever you can to keep your housing cost low. If you have a family member that you can stay in their basement or their guest room and pay them a little money, or if you could rent, out someone's duplex or something, try to figure out flexible options that are going to work for you. I know when my son was like 2 or 3, I lived in a more, smaller town, a rural area. There wasn't a lot going on, but the rent was really cheap, and it was like, I think under $600 a month, and I had a 1-bedroom, and for a 2 or 3-year-old, it was fun because he had his toddler bed on one side of the room, and then I had my bed, and it was fine. I mean, when you're that young, do you really remember where you sleep, or as long as your living circumstances are normal, I mean, it really doesn't matter. But definitely want to keep your housing low and affordable, and really shop around, because with one of my first jobs that I had, I realized that living right by my job, I would have cut down on gas, but the cost of renting was like $400 or $500 a month more than if I had drove 20 minutes down to another town. So just noticing little things like that, really knowing the area well, can help you keep that housing cost very low. So the next thing that you are going to want to focus on is not having a car loan. I know you may feel like you need a car to get around and get your kids around, and transportation is very important. if your budget is tight as a single mom, you really can't afford a car loan anyway, in terms of paying that monthly fee, paying extra insurance, and paying for all the maintenance and repairs. You know, according to Experian, the average car loan is $530 a month. The average lease is around $400 a month. So even if you're paying around that, that's like, you know, $5,000 a year just paying for a car, not even counting oil changes, things like that. So realize that you don't have to have a car loan in order to drive a nice car that's safe. You know, you can always try to get a used car, see if they have deals around the holidays, or if you get a tax refund or some type of windfall, then you can put money on a decent car. Even if it's like 10 years old, it's still going to be probably have, you know, good safety features and still be something, you know, quality that you can drive. I got a used car a few years ago, and it was one of the best things I could have done, because I've had it for 5 or 6 years now, and I really haven't had to do too much work to it. It's like a 2009 or something, and you know, it saved me thousands of dollars just getting an older car. You can also consider options like, you know, public transportation and other rideshare options like Via. Via is a company, it's a rideshare company. It's kind of similar to Uber and Lyft, but it's different because the drivers, they're driving around groups of people, so they're going to be in like a van or a bigger vehicle to take more people at once, and that makes it cheaper. And Via also partners with lots of cities and towns, so you may have already heard of them, but they partner with their transportation companies. So I know in New York, Via is around, and they'll take you, you know, to and from the airport for like for like $10, you know, to or from the airport to Manhattan. So look into options like that if you can, but definitely try to avoid a car loan at all costs, because again, by freeing up your housing a couple $100s a month and not having a car loan, you could literally save, you know, $500 to $800 a month just in that. All right, the next thing that you want to consider checking in on as a single mom trying to make ends meet is your childcare cost. You know, you need childcare, and it can get very, very expensive. So you want to look into alternative options. So maybe a babysitter or some type of a nanny may be cheaper than the childcare in your area. So looking on sites like care.com or Sitter City and trying to find babysitters that way. You may even be able to qualify for assistance for childcare. I know I did when I was in college, and there was a campus childcare, and my son was able to go there while I went to class, and it was nice. I had to pay a copay, but it really wasn't, you know, the thousands of dollars per month that I hear some people pay. And I ended up finding a babysitter when he was really young online, and she charged $3 an hour, which I know is kind of like, you know, but that's what she charged, and I didn't try to talk her into that. I was making minimum wage at the time, and it just worked out. She was a stay-at-home mom looking to gain some more experience and, you know, just make a little extra money, and, you know, we ended up becoming friends, and that was something that, you know, I used to help me get to work and be able to afford childcare for my son. You know, and you can ask, you know, if you live near friends or family, you could work out something where you can swap childcare services. And also, if your child is 3 or 4, you know, you can look into like community preschool programs. I think there's Head Start, and try to get your child in preschool at least a couple of hours a day. That can cut down on the money that you need to pay for a full day of childcare. You can do like half day preschool and then maybe half day daycare or a babysitter or something like that. All right, so the fourth thing that is going to help you is planning and preparing most of your meals at home. So, you know, if money's tight in your household and, you know, you're a single mom, you definitely should not be dining out all the time, because it does add up. So also, you know, I get that you may not want to cook every day either. So, you know, I definitely don't like to cook all the time. I enjoy cooking, but sometimes I'm just tired and I don't feel like making anything. So that's where dining out comes in, you know, handy and convenient. But you can do lots of things to just plan and prepare. I think that's going to be the best thing for you, is just to plan ahead. So making meals in bulk, you know, using a crock pot or Instant Pot, and preparing meals that you and your family can have for 2 to 3 days. Making meals and then freezing them in advance, doing things like that. Even if you do go out, figuring out how you can use coupons and go out on kids eat free days, you know, that can still save you a lot of money. So even if you could just lower your grocery bill by like, you know, $50 a month or something, that can help you. That can be extra money for gas, or it can go to savings or something else. So I'll definitely do another video about food in the near future, but just something to think about. Oh, and also try to make your coffee and tea at home unless you get it for free at work, because that adds up. Even if you go to the store and you buy like those gallons of iced coffee or something, that is going to come out cheaper to pour per cup at home than to go to McDonald's or Starbucks every day and to get coffee. Next, I really recommend gathering all the support you need. You know, you definitely don't have to feel alone as a single parent. There are likely tons of resources, groups, support in your area that you can lean and rely on. I know with me, it was just trying to survive. And I was like, I don't really have time to, feel ashamed or feel weird about looking into programs like government assistance or, utility assistance programs. I just want to be able to, provide and get my bills paid and do what I need to do and work on my plan to improve my finances. So you definitely want to look in your area and see what type of programs that they have for single moms. If your income does qualify you for government assistance, it's just temporary, but it could help you be able to bridge that gap while you work on improving yourself. When I was in college, I joined like a college parents group, met a lot of friends there, found out about a lot of resources for moms and parents in general, and also met some great friends that I could swap childcare services with, and that just really helped me have support because I wasn't as close to my family in proximity where we were living. So that really helped me at the time, just leaning on those community resources. Organizations, they're there to help you, so you might as well take advantage of them. When you get on your feet, then you can give back to those organizations and you can help someone else. All right, rolling right along here. Next thing you want to focus on is earning the extra money that you need. So early on, you want to figure out like how much you are spending every month and how much you are making and what is that gap. I've mentioned quite a few things in this video that can help you really cut your expenses down, like slice them down by a third at least. But if you are still not making enough money, then that is an issue that cutting your expenses is not really going to help you get by as much. You're going to need to make more money eventually. So you really want to focus on finding a way to make, figuring out how much you need, calculating how much that is a month, and finding a way to make it. So if it's extra $200, $300, $500 a month, know that you can do that easily and flexibly, even if you do have a child. I always say for single moms that the best thing for you in terms of a side hustle is going to be something that's flexible and allows you to work remotely, because you won't have to worry about childcare or leaving or arranging things, and you won't have to worry about trying to navigate all these different schedules, trying to arrive on time at a job. It's a lot. When I started looking into making extra money, I was like, I'm just exhausted, after school and after work. I really don't want to come home and have to go out to work somewhere else and never see my child, and I just don't have the energy. So I started looking into things that I can do flexibly working from home. And there's tons of options. I'm going to do a video about freelancing because that is a great way to kind of use your talents and skills to make extra money. You can even consider babysitting, watching other people's kids, and then you can still have your child with you. You can, walk dogs. You can sell things online. There are so many things that you can do. You can even take what you do at your day job and start offering that as a side, freelance service. If you have some type of creative design skills, you can design logos for people. You can take pictures, family portraits of people. There are so many different things you can do to kind of bridge that gap. And, set a goal. If you can make an extra $100 a week and spending, a couple of hours of your time, it's totally worth it. And from there, you can scale up. So final step is going to be to really set in place a plan for your future. So if you don't want to be just this, struggling single parent for the rest of your life, I don't blame you, but you have to start planning for your future, and you have to start visualizing what you want your future to look like and where you want to be. So if you don't like your job, or you don't like your income, or you don't like your living situation, you have to figure out what you want it to be like and work your way backward and really have a plan, because you don't have to be stuck where you're at. When things are not good financially, it sucks, but you do not have to be stuck there forever for the rest of your life. You don't have to have debt for the rest of your life. You don't have to have the same income level for the rest of your life, but you have to take action and you have to plan. So with that being said, you want to figure out what you want to do. Side hustles are great, but you want to find something that is sustainable long term. So how are you going to make extra money long term? How are you going to increase your income. If you don't want, I didn't want to be, in a 1-bedroom apartment for the rest of my life. So I had to figure out, what am I going to do? Taking those steps that I mentioned to free up money, and get a little extra money in your pocket is really going to help you, not just be able to pay bills now, but have something extra to save and to pay down debt and to get ahead. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the tips in this video. Feel free to comment below if you have any other things to add, ways that you've saved money or things that you've done to make extra money in the past, other types of housing hacks. I want to hear it all. And feel free to subscribe, like this video, and be looking out for my next one. I am going to try to post videos weekly. And if you have any topics also that you want me to cover, feel free to leave those too, because I'm totally open on covering different types of money topics. All right, guys, take care.